Alrighty, we are now joined by William Byron, driver of the number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. If you have a question for William, please raise your hand and we will get the microphone to you. All right, we'll start over here with Bob.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. At the Hendrick Museum, there's that big sign that says race to 300. And I don't know if you've seen it. Now it says 304. I'm curious, what's the next race to? Like, what's the next milestone you view for the organization?
I think the 40th race at Martinsville is pretty big deal. 40th year. That's been a big deal over the off season, with all the paint schemes and everything. I think trying to win a championship in the 40th year is probably a huge deal. So yeah, I think just some of the milestones this year in general. I don't know about race wins numbers, but obviously getting to 400, hopefully I'm here for that and can contribute more, but I think those are the big ones. Mm-hmm.
Lee Spencer, CatchFence.com. What did you learn about yourself at Martinsville last year? Because, for some of us, seeing what you did, to be almost delirious and pull out the finish the way you did.
Yeah.
When the season was over and everything, ended and it got quiet, what did you take from that? Because it was a victory for you personally to come through that.
Yeah, I mean, just the wear and tear of the playoffs and the season, and just tried to reflect on that race and what we could do better to not be in that position again, not to be kind of limping across the finish line as a collective group, whether it be the car or myself or the heat and all those things. So we've done a lot of work to be better in those areas. With the heat, we're actually trying a new helmet fan this week, so I feel like we're on the right track with all that stuff. And then we've done a lot of work on the car to be better on short track. So hopefully all those things apply this weekend. That's the goal, is try to show up here with speed and have some pace on our side and have some handling to maneuver and just have a good solid race. So that's the goal, and Martinsville's obviously the big test.
I'm more looking at the challenge, for you to come on the other side of that, because, some guys would have just thrown up their hands. Some guys would have parked. The drive it took you to get through that moment just spoke so much about your character and your resolve, and that's kind of more what I'm getting at. Yeah,
I've always been really resilient. I think that it's easy to look at me and say that I'm, pretty quiet guy, pretty reserved, but I played football since I was in 5th grade, and every time I put the helmet on, I had resilience and wanted to hit people. I played defense, so I feel like my coaches knew that about me, and Rudy knows that about me. Once I put the helmet on, it's pretty tough to get to me and affect me, and so I feel like resilient, and that is throughout the whole race team. I feel like our whole race team is just gritty and hard-nosed.
All righty, we'll go to John.
John Newby, NBC Sports, right here. So last week, Rudy was very blunt about struggles you guys have had at Richmond and Martinsville. Can you give me a better sense, why that may be, whether it's, the setup of the car or any other potential issues?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those places we go to that we just don't have an idea of how it's going to go. And so anytime you go to a track and you don't really have a notebook that you feel confident on, we've had some good races here, but we've never showed up here knowing that we can run, easy top 10 or compete for a win. And not that we go anywhere thinking that it's just going to be a cakewalk, but you go to certain tracks and know that you have a great notebook, like going to Coda or going to Watkins Glen. So I feel like this is one of those places we're still trying to build that solid notebook. But I feel really good going into this race because we had a great test a couple weeks ago, and we've done some different things with our preparation. So I feel good, but until we get on track, we really don't know, and it's probably one of the few places that is like that for us.
And following up on that notebook, does it throw a wrench in the works, I guess, with the new short track package and not knowing for sure how that'll race?
I don't really know. I don't know. Like, we don't focus on the package that much in terms of how it changes our preparation. I think we maybe overestimated the difference there at first. And so honestly, we're just trying to do the same things and just adapt to whatever the handling issues are. A lot of people have asked me, is it easier to pass? Is it harder? I don't really care. I just want my race car to go fast. So that's all I care about. I just want us to be faster than everyone else. And, the fast guys can usually pass people.
Alrighty, we're going to come up here now.
Al Pearson, Auto Week. As the most recent road course winner, this question especially good for you. The fact that Long Beach is even being rumored to maybe being a venue at some point, do you like the idea of another street race or another road race, or do you like the balance of what your schedule is right now?
Yeah, I like the balance of what it is right now. I think we can't really oversaturate. I like that we have 4 or 5 road courses. When we started to go to 5 or 6, I knew that I had to become a better road course racer. Always had speed on road courses, but then it became a big priority. So I don't know. I like the traditional tracks that we go to, and I think our schedule is fine the way it is. I think this year's probably the most traditional it's been with having so many short tracks in a row, and we're kind of back to the roots there. So I don't know. I'm going to go race wherever they tell me to go, but I think it's a good balance right now.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we're going to come right over here. A question?
Good morning. Jasmine Sharp with TPF. Two-parter right here. With you being such a popular driver within the sim overall, how do you feel with that and how innovative it is and how we have so many new drivers going from sim straight up to cup basically, and with you driving the 24 car, which is legendary within itself, how do you feel with the 40th anniversary and just continuing that legend? What are you guys doing as a team as a whole to embody that number and continue its status?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the sim racing thing, I think that's just continuing to grow and evolve. So I think that's, I mean, the 40th anniversary, I'm really excited for. I'm excited for my Martinsville scheme that we have. I think it looks amazing, and saw it in the shop this week, and feel really excited for that race in general. We'll have a lot of Hendrick employees and family members out there, so I know it'll be a huge deal.
We'll go over to Davey.
Davey Siegel with SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. We've talked a lot this week about tire conservation, being one of the younger guys, but also coming up racing some late models on some really worn-out racetracks. How do you feel your skill set is positioned in terms of tire wear and conserving tires over the course of long green flag runs like we usually see here?
Well, you can only manage your tires when your car is balanced and fast. So I think the whole debate a couple weeks ago about who's saving tires the most, and it's the guys who have pace and reserve to use. But I mean, when I go to late model races, and we've had success on a lot of late model races, it just typically comes down to how good is my car driving? How can I manage my tires to be good at the end? If my car is driving good, and it's just it's fun when you have a fast car and you have a good handling car, and you can kind of ride third or fourth and then push at the end and really pour it on. So I don't know. I kind of like going all out all the time, but I do like fall off. I think that we need to have some advantage to the first 4 or 5 laps, putting damage on your tires and putting half second of lap time together against the field. There needs to be a difference in if you go super hard at the beginning and paying for it. But like I said, you have to have pace and reserve, and you have to have a good handling car, and that's just racing. And the guys who have that are gonna have an advantage on tires at the end of a run.
What position did you play in football?
A linebacker. Yeah.
Were you good?
Yeah, I was pretty good till I stopped growing. Then I started racing. So
We're going to head all the way to the back for a
Back
question.
here, Sean Robertson, CBS 6 here in Richmond. You mentioned about your notebook for this particular track. Does it change at all given the fact that Sunday's race is going to be at night as opposed to in recent years when it's been in the daytime?
Yeah, I mean, we really don't know what it's gonna be like. We have a notebook from 2018, 19, to just look back on what the track did, but it's really hard to know with this car. It has very different traits. So I feel like it's going to be a learning curve throughout the race, but the race is going to start at 7, so you're going to be in some daylight for the beginning stage, and then you'll kind of transition. So it's just going to be about trying to keep up with the track. But I'm excited that it's a night race. I think short tracks belong under the lights, and I think it'll, it's exciting to see the rotors glow, and if there's contact and things, it's a little more exciting at night, I think.
Alrighty, we're gonna go all the way to the left side here.
All right. Chris Powell, Couch Coach Live. William, obviously winning at Daytona and also winning at Coda last week. Just talk about your momentum heading to tomorrow night's race.
Yeah, I mean, we've got momentum for sure, but just trying to stack the weeks together is the big thing. We don't want to have one good week and one bad week and one good. And so we just want to kind of be boring and just be mellow and have really solid runs when we don't win. And if we're in a position to win, we want to obviously capitalize. But I think the big thing is try to stack some 3rd, 4th, 5ths and some laps led, and a 10th place finish isn't a bad thing. So just have those solid days, and when you look at the results sheet, it looks like nothing happened.
Alrighty, we'll bring it over to Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. I presume you kind of know the history of Hendrick Motorsports at Martinsville, but when did it really kind of begin ingrained into you of like what that means to the organization and the importance of running well there? Yeah,
I mean, just growing up a fan of the sport, I think it was easy to tell that was their place, that was a track that they dominated, and really then learning about the history of Jeff Bodine winning there, and then learning about the tragedy there, and just kind of tying it all together and understanding the real history there. It's deep, right? So it's been a really important place for decades, and I think that every time we go there, I think there's an emphasis to run well, but especially this year.
Alrighty, is there any additional questions? Alrighty, thank you, William.
Cool, thank you.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.